35 years ago. A lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work,
diagnostics and racing transmissions,
performance parts and Jeep upgrades,
automotive detailing,
used car sales,
and towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
It's worth the drive.
Hello and welcome back to the Bracket Life Broadcast, Canada's drag racing show, episode 70. Here, loaded up. Brandon here, as always, joined by my good friend Andrew Stirk. How's it going tonight?
Good day. We're doing all right. We're wrapping up Tuesday night, another long week, which feels like a long week because, good Lord, I've been one of those couple days stretches get into this week, race week on the end of this week, weekend at the end of this week, and the weekend off, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
from racing.
Yeah. We're dialing her down though, running low on time.
That's true. A couple events left for some of us, and then that's it. That's scary.
It is scary, but we're getting there. A lot of great news, great show set up here. I'm really excited for this one. Talk some drag week stuff, not just bracket racing all the time. You know what I'm saying? We've still got some race. We'll try something a little different for the second half of the show. So, Andrew, tonight's show presented by Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service or Ogilvy's Motorsports. Bit of both. I don't have a Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet hoodie. I have lots of work shirts upstairs, but I wear enough of them all the time.
Yeah, switch it up, something different.
That's it. Try something different. So as I can see it across the road over there, actually it's pretty dark, right? You can see the lights. Located in Jasper, Ontario, Canada, Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service can not only fix all light and heavy duty vehicles, also a dealer for FTI Performance, transmissions, Jones transmission pumps, K&R Performance Engineering Products, Portatree, and Race Star Wheels. Visit the website, ogilvysauto.com. For more information, send me a message on Facebook, Andrew a message, Bracket Life a message, Rachel a message, anybody. Message anyone.
That's it. Reach out.
That's all you got to do. Yeah. Quick question, anything like that, send anybody a message. We can get pretty well anything for your race car. A lot of, whatever technical help, things like that, wherever you need. I don't know. What else you need? Trailers, motorhomes, trucks, whatever, man.
Real expansion here.
That's it. Whatever you need, we'll get it. We'll help you out with it, especially coming into this winter time. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. Starting the off season here pretty soon. Any upgrades, things like that you want to do, get in touch with us. We can get all your parts, products, information, whatever. Thank you, Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service, supporting us, supporting the Bracket Life broadcast. If you're tuning in live, as we have a few folks already loading up the chat, letting us know you're here, letting us know that you're hanging out.
We're going nation to nation here, from Pennsylvania to Ontario to Alberta, from the comments I see already.
That's it. We're all over the place, man. We're international.
I'm not quite sure where.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. Frank appreciate it. He's in Pennsylvania enough to pretty well be from Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? We're international. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
That's what we are. So, Andrew, we'll dive into the Canadian countdown. We'll start near the East Coast. We'll start Cape Breton a couple weeks ago for race number 5. This was the final race weekend at Cape Breton for 2024. Let's see where we got no box class. Saturday, we ran for some Wallies. So the no box class winner, John Croft, over Colin Starzinski. I was going to leave it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was all right.
Yeah.
Box class, Doug Rathall over Benny Neaston. Bike sled, Bruce Courtney over Dave Ferguson. And junior dragster was Lily Arsenault. On Sunday, the pro class, Noah Mugga takes the win over Lewis McDonald. Jace McNeil once again gets a big win in Super Pro over Joey Carroll. Bike sled, Bruce Courtney over Damon Courtney. That's a father-son final there, and Bruce Courtney getting the double up. Junior dragster Silas Bellows over Lily Arsenault. Lily almost with a double up there. Sportsman class, Gus Longafee over Hank Neaston. Congratulations to all those racers. The final points champions for Cape Breton, Pro Class Noah Maga, Super Pro Mike Burns. Bike sled is Bruce Courtney. Junior dragster Lily Arsenault, and Gus Longafee was your sportsman champion for that. Andrew, we're stacking up the comments here.
Yes, I was just watching this. It's rolling in here fast.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
So roll us through, Andrew. We got some results from Grand Bend.
Yeah, so be the second last bracket race at Grand Bend with the 660s coming up, but the last Grand Bend event, they did a team portion. This was typically the last couple of years they've done like a bracket finals type deal. They broke this down into just individual teams. So the ES team didn't do as great on Saturday, but overall 111 entries and no box on Saturday. And just stop me if you've heard this before. Talbot versus Talbot in the final round. Brad taking on Jeff, with Brad taking a W on it. Box, we saw Greg Roy, Green Nova. Greg been battling the car a bit, finally got it figured out, taking the win over Bill McKay. In the B-class bike sled, Cody Howe with the win over Dan Bellew. Junior dragster, Levi Dill with the win over Luke Sampson. File that one away because that may be a repeat performance in that Sunday. We'll discuss that in a second. No box on Sunday. Again, stop me if you've heard this before. A Talbot in the final of no box. Jeff going back-to-back finals, this time getting the W on Sunday with a win over Walt Tucker. Great day for Walt going rounds. Box, Andrew Sturck. Hey, I know that guy. Win over Joe Cicallo. Had a fun day on that one. Took my brother's Mustang out to try a few things out. Had the new STI converter in it from Ogilvy Auto, right? Worked out real good, actually. And ended up driving both cars down to 5 total. Lost against Joe in the Mustang, which would have given me the bye to the final. Took the Corvette. Took the, what I have? I had a bye run at 5. Beat Mike Newman at 3. And then got to race Joe in the final. So I got some retribution, picked up the W. So fun day for Andrew Sturck, we'll be honest with you. Fun day. Bike sled, we saw John Paul Rock over Trevor Rock. And then we had junior dragster, Levi taking the W over Luke. So Levi going back-to-back, Luke going back-to-back, Levi getting the same result over Luke, but a great weekend for them. Luke led part of his team on the team side of things. I believe it was the Talbot team of Nothing But Ducks. What an appropriate name for a team made up of Talbots and Sampsons, right? All great racers from Grand Bend. They won the team portion. Luke helped with that. Obviously, Brad, Jeff, and Jay also part of that team. They picked up $1,000 prize as team champions as well, and they will get some sweet jackets if I understood the post correctly.
There you go. I know there was a call out on Facebook, Andrew, for $100, I believe, on teams. Is there an update on how that went?
Well, I don't know. I left that up to our team captain, Big Check Bob Jennings. I will confer with how that wagering went down. I let the team know early on Friday night when I got there that I was going to contribute as much as I could to help winning that bet. But my past team championship contributions and team events have been 1 win over like 10 rounds. So I really tried to set the table high for them. I did go 4 rounds in the main event. I think I went the farthest on our team. So just saying, at least I pulled my end of this, however this went down. But I'll have to get you an update on that one. I don't feel like that's probably going to go as smooth as the call outs and the trash talking alluded it could. But
well, it was good though.
It was fun.
There was some good trash talking though.
I enjoyed it. There's a few good folks out there who can really try. I'm not a trash talker. I've spent too much time in a goaltending net letting other people do it for me. I'll admit that. But if you got the ability to, there were some good ones going on that weekend. Sadly, we didn't quite live up to it.
It happens. It happens.
It does.
I was racing while you were in Grand Bend. I was racing in Lustville, and this was pretty neat. You know how we both end our Sundays, but we'll start with Saturday. Also a shocker here. Mike Chenier takes the Super Pro win once again at Lustville Dragway. over Kyle Jessup. Killer Kyle was made to the finals. I believe, if I'm correct, might have got behind 3,000.
Oh,
I know the margin was 3,000. We didn't really know if it was him getting behind, but it was a tight race anyway. Mike did not leave any room. I believe they were even on the tree, and I don't know. Kyle was going under, had to do something, and then tight race nonetheless, but good one. Semi-pro was actually a double up. I'll just hit both Saturday and Sunday. Stephen Valentine dominated this weekend. I believe, not 100% sure, but I believe he sealed himself a points championship, as did Mike Chenier for Luskville. Juniors, Julia Malcolm also doubles up Saturday and Sunday. So the only different winner, well, I guess we did have a nostalgia race. So Attila takes the win in nostalgia on Saturday. Marco, I'm not sure. Marco wins. Yeah. Takes the win on Sunday in nostalgia. I was able to get the win on Sunday in Super Pro, driving Rachel's car over Larry Lepin. Larry on the bike was running both classes, semi-pro and Super Pro. Had a wicked day. He was awesome. I was very fortunate. He had his one slip up of the day in the final, but and I was able to get the win. But he did really well. We talked a bunch before the final. And I think this might be a new thing. Like Larry's coming to Super Pro.
That would be awesome.
So
something different again to see.
Well, it's going to be fun for everybody who doesn't race them, because after last weekend, I don't think you really would like to go against them. It doesn't seem like a fun matter based on how that weekend looked. But yeah, I was doubling with Rachel with her car after my rear end decided it just no longer wanted to be a part of anything. So
it just gave up. It went home, grabbed its football, and said, "I'm done."
Yeah, but that's I think there's a good 10 years on that rear end. So
that's a couple passes.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah,
it's not. It's done its fair share of work. So that was cool. It was neat when I got home and saw your Facebook post. I was like, hey, the Bracket Life broadcast guys, they both went on Sunday.
That was fantastic. It's awfully quiet from Luskville as I'm going rounds, right? And then, conversely, I'm not sending many messages out. And then someday around 5 o'clock, we're both going, "Hey, look at this!" Right?
Hey,
so fun day.
You won. I won. That was pretty neat.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was cool. That's how we wrapped up the Louis Gagne weekend at Luskville. It was pretty cool. Do that. We had a big breakfast on Sunday morning with all the racers, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, too bad that the season there is over.
Fair. That's good though.
Yeah.
Speaking of season wrap up, very close to WDRA Northern Bracket Finals from US 131. So this was the championships for division. Actually, I don't know if they call it a division. Just maybe the Northern Division. Anyway, this is where Grand Bend and St. Thomas go to. So they ended up combining the two Canadian tracks to make a Team Canada. Did the similar thing actually with NHRA Division 1, which I will actually talk about on here. It's not on our script at the moment, but I'll get to that in a second. Team Canada goes down to US 131. The big day ended up being the Race of Champions Day, and that's where Team Canada really swept out. Box Race of Champions winner, Drew Buchner, who is very well versed with 131 after his big race at the 250K. Got to have a cool special day there. They've done this a couple times, but he gets to join his son, Owen, in the winner's circle. Owen wins the Junior Dragster Race of Champions. Owen and Drew have doubled up a couple times at St. Thomas this year. Again, Talbot. This name just keeps rolling in. Sportsman ROC winner, Jeff Talbot, taking the W. And the only person to break up the Team Canada fun party here is some guy named Donnie Hagar, who apparently is the 2023 $1 million winner and No Box World Champion. Only non-Canadian in the Race of Champions winner's circle. So congratulations to Team Canada on that. Main event, I believe the Team Canada was able to, I don't think anyone got to the final, but they were competing for the points. I believe it was US 131 and Mid-Michigan that were duking it out. Team Canada was in the mix until the late rounds. Turned out to be a 131 Mid-Michigan kind of final round across the board. But awesome job for Team Canada. I will mention too, NHRA Division 1 bracket finals came up. Team Canada also went down, which was Race Cuga Sportsman Series, TMP, and Napierville sent a few contingents down. John Robertson was, I think, one of the highlights of the weekend. John in Super Pro, he was the Super Pro champion at RCSS. He was the runner-up in the Race of Champions in Division 1. Unfortunately, this year, we weren't able to send any representatives from NHRA to Vegas. Mike Konopacki last year was a division representative for the bike and sled class. Team Canada went a few rounds in the main event, but no one going to Vegas from that contingent this year, but great job to them as well. So from there, we can kick it up to Greenfield. We've got some results from last weekend. Is that right? Just a couple days ago.
Absolutely. Just a couple days ago, the final weekend for the ADRA. Saturday results box. Once again, I don't know. I say this every time we talk about a Down East race. Jason McNeil takes the win over Michael Wynot. No box. Rory McNeil over John Croft. Stuart Ferguson beat Devin Mansfield in bike and sled. I believe that's Zeph. I believe that's supposed to be Zach Bellows, maybe. Over Caden Sprague in junior. Quick 660, Gary Posivon over Jody Noble. John Armstrong over Bill Shepard in stock super stock. That rounds out Saturday. Sunday, Mike Ingram over Cale Johnson in a all-star final there. Super Pro, Brett Ramsey over Benny Neaston. Both with cars that they bought from Luskville Dragway. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
that's a cool photo with Brett's dragster that was
I saw
just picked up,
and I was a little confused.
and Benny with the roadster. So you'd swear that it almost looked like it was just Kyle and Troy racing in the final down east, but nope, just their cars. They're old cars. I guess. I
want to make a comment about that, but that's probably going to get me in trouble this weekend. So
you never know. You never know. You can give that one to Kyle later. Just put that in your back pocket. Bike sled, Bruce Courtney over Rob McMullen. Sportsman, Jenna Rippey over Josh Rainforth. Silas Bellows over Zeph Bellows. It is Zeph. I was wrong. I was thinking it was Silas. That's who I was getting confused with. Cole Brothers in the final with Silas taking the win. Scott Bellows over Ashley Walker. So that's a big day for the Bellows at Greenfield. In quick 660, stock, super stock, Ryan Thibault over John Armstrong. The ADRA champions for 2024, Mike Ingram in pro, Brett Ramsey in super pro, Mike Arsenault in bike sled, Jenna Rippey in sportsman, and Jax Goodwin in junior dragster. So congratulations to all the champions. On a great year, all big names, all names we've talked about multiple times on here. And Andrew, you got a comment. You got a call out here.
No, I'm good. I'll catch it this weekend. I catch it this weekend. I don't mind throwing Kyle under the bus, but I feel awful about Troy, so I ain't going to do that.
That's nice of you, though.
Okay, stick up for the guys who stick up for you, right? So
somebody's got it. Andrew, we'll hit a few more quick ones. Napierville this past weekend. I know I don't have all the results. Adam Bitsanis, the winner, 5K winner. Saturday, 5K runner-up. Sunday.
Nice.
Great weekend for Adam. Juniors dominated by the Angers. Maverick, I believe, was Saturday, and Logan Sunday. I'm 99% certain I have those days right. But the winners are correct.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can flip them around one way or the other, but either way, there was a winner's circle with one and the other in it, right?
That's it. Exactly. You got a couple more NHRA highlights for us? Well, here, let me hit I'll hit Shannonville first, and then we'll do the NHRA stuff. So Shannonville this past weekend, I believe, was their final points weekend. They have one more day of racing in October, but their final points weekend, I have not seen a final points update for who the champions are yet. I know Chuck's working on that. That'll be soon. Super Pro Ashley Kennedy on Saturday. John Chatwood in semi-pro. Sportsman, this is a great story. Mark Harvey over Aaron Felstein. Aaron newly engaged to Mark's daughter, Victoria. The whole family races, right? We've talked about before. Mark usually runs Super Pro. Victoria races. Austin races. That's brother and sister. And then Aaron, Victoria's now fiance, also races. They all roll down. They bring four cars down, camp, have a great party. So Mark and Aaron, the final of Sportsman. Mark takes the win. Austin takes the win in the trophy class. That's two Harveys in the winner's circle. Later on, Saturday night, practice tree race. Mom Mark's wife, Christine, takes the practice tree race down.
Wow.
And I'll skip through just easy, quick.
Yep.
Sunday, Aaron takes the win in Sportsman. So that's 4 big wins out of the Harvey camp
weekend
at Shannonville. So that's awesome for them. Samantha Chadwood joined her Papa John in the winner's circle there after winning juniors. Bike and sled, cool story. I'm not sure if they ran bike and sled both days, but Merv Shannick over John Chadwood. So John almost with the double up there, and a couple of bike and sled legends from the Shannonville area. Merv and John Chadwood have been racing forever and been successful forever there. So cool to see that. Sunday, Tony Deering takes the win in Super Pro. So great for Tony. Great for Ashley Kennedy too, who did win Super Pro on Saturday. Both those racers, longtime supporters, great people, known them forever, grew up with them. They grew up, watching me do my thing. So it's a cool deal for both of them to get the winner's circle. Doug Irvine in Pro, also great dude.
Absolutely, yeah.
Another feast, I believe there was to be had at the pit area, the Irvine pit, I mean. So congratulations to Doug, and Carly Parkhurst gets the big win in juniors on Sunday. Congratulations to Carly.
Absolutely.
I did not get, I believe the trophy class might have been Super Dave take the win on Sunday. I did not see any nostalgia, or I didn't get the names for the nostalgia winners. But congratulations to everybody there. And like I said, I'm sure Chuck will have the points updated here soon. And congratulations on another great event at Shannonville.
Good deal. Excellent. Congratulations, everyone there. We'll get those points champions on in the next episode. We roll through some more results because there'll be a few more tracks and a few more results. We'll kick this one down to the NHRA side. So we'll go to NHRA at Reading. They were also at Charlotte this last weekend. But Reading was where a few more Canadian results took place. Top Fuel out of 16 cars that qualified had 2 Canadians at the show down there. Max Smith from Ayr, Ontario, Dan Mercier from Quebec, both getting into really competitive fields. And this was, I believe this was the first race of the countdown, so had points implications to it. Smacks would go out in round 1 to championship contender Justin Ashley. Dan would put a bit of a kink into many championship aspirations as he would go some rounds. Round 1, taking out Doug Coletta, the reigning Top Fuel champion. Round 2, taking out Steve Torrance, multi-time former world champion. So that really added some interesting dynamics to the points chase as this would unfold. Eventually, he would run into Antron Brown, and unfortunately, Antron would put an end to Dan's day, go on to win the event. But great job by them. Dan, I believe, did qualify for Charlotte, but unfortunately went out in round 1. Had a potential to win round 1 in Charlotte. He was one of those double coasting type fests and just didn't get the W on it. 8th thou, I think. It was a very close deal. Now that I'm actually having an active memory moment where something's working. But great job for the team there. Moving into world championship implications, talking about points, we've got a couple Canadians on the board here that have shots at a few different titles. Justin Bond and Jordan Lasik, both in the pro modified field, both close. Pro mod at Charlotte was a bit of an interesting deal where 1, 2, and 3 in points all went out in round 1, and some of the lower points racers went a few rounds. Justin currently sitting 6th, 3 rounds behind points leader Ken Portico. I always have trouble with Ken's name. Yeah, we'll roll with that. The points leader. If you look it up, you'll see who it is. Jordan Lasik sitting 7th, right behind Justin. 3.5 rounds behind the leader. Top alcohol dragster Sean Cowie sitting 4th in the world. He's 4 rounds behind Hunter Green. Interesting part because it's a claiming style series when you look at the Lucas Oil top alcohol, top dragster and funny car. Currently, Sean has 2 national events remaining to claim, and I think he typically does them on the West Coast. Normally you see him at Vegas and Pomona. Hunter Green is currently maxed out. Mike Coughlin, who is 2nd, is also maxed out nationally, but he has 2 divisionals. So this is where the strategy starts to kick in. I believe Sean is maxed out divisionals, but can improve on his national score. I think he has possibly a round 1 or a non-qualifier on the national level to drop. So only being 4 rounds behind is not an impossible feat for Sean to come back around some of these other ones who have some tougher times to improve on their scores. So that's the NHRA scene at the moment.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I believe 2 weeks Dallas event. The Peyton car, I think, is back in action. I don't know how many people know that. I believe it is. I believe Spencer Hyde might be sitting back in that unit in a couple weeks in Dallas. So should be good. Should be exciting. We'll see who else shows up. Before we just have a couple more upcoming events we want to talk about. Comment here, Jean-Paul Thibault. Comment Benny Neaston on Sunday in his Nova. The Roadster broke Saturday, drove over 7 hours back to his home in Cape Breton to get the Nova, and drove back that night, arriving around 11 p.m., being able to race Sunday. So 7 hours home, 7 hours back, get set up, go to the final on Sunday.
Unreal.
And then drive back home.
And then, another 7 hours back home, and it's all said and done.
Yeah.
That is some miles and some dedication right there. Yeah.
That's like we said, man. It's almost over.
Yep.
You can only do so many times. Yep. Sandra, we have some upcoming events. Obviously, this weekend, you and we get to hang out a little bit more together. The Bracket Super Tour wraps up for the bracket finals in Naperville. So we'll be headed there. Lots of exciting stuff, lots of exciting points, chases, and things like that going on. If you're following the Super Tour Facebook page, there's lots of all that info is coming out. It's fun.
Every day they're ramping up, so it's going to be great. Forecast looking good. I mean,
I'm ready.
That's when I looked at. So hey, let's go do this.
That's the only one I'm looking at. Don't matter. Miramichi, big event this weekend. Cool note that I found: all the junior entries attending from Greenfield Dragway will have free entries, as their entries were paid, I believe, by Greenfield Dragway or Cale Johnson. I believe Jack runs it. Cale's his son. So cool deal. Cool sport there. West Coast Outlaw Shootout, Mission Raceway, RCSS race at TMP. Yep. The 660 Sportsman Nationals, the rescheduled rain date. Yep. Grand Bend Motorplex, first weekend of October. No Prep Backside Bonanza at St. Thomas. Shannonville Thanksgiving weekend, just a 1 day on Saturday. I believe Sunday is a car show or a swap meet kind of situation. Turkey Nationals at St. Thomas. I'm sure there's a little bit more, but
there might be
that's what I got for north. North of the border, that's about it.
Yeah, and then the only other thing to watch is we'll see some Canadians down at the World Finals in Montgomery. That's where the WDRA World Finals are. So got some qualifiers, some track champions down there. But it's a short list if you think about it now for what's left on the north side of the border.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Andrew, we're about halfway through the show now. We made through some good time. We had some good stories to talk about. Yeah. So halfway through, we got lots of time left to get into the main event tonight. That's what everybody's here for, ready for it. As most everyone knows who does follow Bracket Life, follows most of the stuff we do. Here at Ogilvy's, it's been pretty busy working on race cars, not bracket race cars, drag week cars. So awesome story.
Of a car.
A little bit different, but it's fast, it's loud, it makes a lot of power. So it's been a whole cool experience. So my future brother-in-law coming up soon. I will bring Nic Poirier. Welcome to the show, Nic. Great to have you.
G'day, gentlemen.
Nic is hanging out, as I pointed out earlier, just across the road. He's in the race shop right now, where he has pretty well spent the last at least a solid 2 months.
I can almost see you.
Almost. If I open the window blinds. Yeah. So Nic's been in the race shop it's been longer than this, getting the whole deal done, but at least like 2 months, pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Solid, right? Doesn't matter, Sunday to Sunday, after work till 10 or 11 o'clock at night with Mike. All day on weekends, putting it all in, getting all the work done for last week, right? So,
which was an exciting week to watch. I have to admit, it was a little bit distracting at home, trying to wait for updates and follow as much as we could because it was really cool to see it all go down. But I imagine you feel like this is like your apartment now, set up at that shop based on the last little bit. You must almost feel like you live there based on what you had to go through.
Ew, I'd be quite happy with it.
Yeah.
There you go. So why don't we get into this? So as you know, Nick, we spoke a little bit about this, but we'll start maybe just speaking about you yourself, your passion in this, and just kind of how you got into drag racing. We'll lead that into maybe talking about the car, and then we can get into. I'd love to hear about the adventures of the week, because I mean, as much as I followed it, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that we still haven't, heard about and seen in any of the other things. So just how'd you get into racing? Where did this all start? And maybe fill us in on that point.
Probably started, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago. I started going to the track with Kyle Jessup, as you guys have mentioned. His dad's my godfather, so I've known him for my whole life. As he said, he tried to drown me when I was a kid, when I was about but I've known that forever, so just started going to the track with them, hanging out there. Kind of went over, started helping Mike and the girls all get their stuff done, stuff like that. And then, of course, carried on. Now I'm engaged to Ash, Brando's sister-in-law. And, yeah, now I'm there every weekend. Well, I haven't been the last year and a half because I've been busy trying to get my car going. But now that it's going, I'm sure I'll be there a lot more. But I was there every weekend for like 5 years or whatever. Just help. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so it's a funny story like that. Like, there's so many different ways you can find interest in this, right? And sometimes it's just getting, I say dragged to the track, and I don't mean that in, any other way than just being facetious, but like, you get into it, right? And your passion starts from just being the helper versus the racer, right? But I'm sure there's a lot more racing.
There you want to start to do it, right?
And you got the crash course on it when you walk into the Ogilvy pit. You got 1,000 cars to work on and different ways to do it. So
somebody says always something exciting happening.
That's it. So why don't you tell us a bit about the car? And because I understand, and I don't know the backstory to it, so that's the part that I'm intrigued here. There is a backstory to this car. Why don't you fill it in, like, what the car is, what's the backstory, and then we can kind of get into. I'd love to learn more about just what you've done, because I think most people on here have an understanding of the drag car, what you're looking to do with it. You built something that had to go survive 600 plus miles, and still be fast, which is a bit different of a dynamic. But start off with just like, what have you got? What is the story behind it? And then we'll work into the rest of it.
Yeah, so it's a 68 Camaro. As I mentioned, Carl Jessup's my godfather. He's like one of the OGs, so to say, Luskville Dragway. Everybody knows him. And this was his first pro street car, kind of before he even started drag racing. He bought it in the late 80s, I think like 88, and he built it pro street, as a lot of them did back in the day. And it had I think it had a 454 in it, all jacked up in the back, tubbed and everything like that. He had a little seat in there, like between the wheel tubs, and Kyle would have been 3 years old, and his car seat sat in between the wheel tubs. So that was Carl's first car. Drove it on the street. I don't think he raced it much, but that was the main one that got him into what he's doing. And then he ended up selling it, and it stayed around in the area. But I had never seen the car. It was called the Rattler. I heard a lot about it. My uncle drove the car to prom, and
No way. Yeah.
just a lot of small stuff like that. Like, my dad was there the whole time Carl was building it. So a lot of stories came up about the car, but I had never seen it. I seen a few pictures here and there. And then I want to say 2.5 years ago, a customer of ours at the shop here ended up, he called Mike. He's got a couple really nice 68, 69 Camaro, touring. He called Mike and said, I bought this Camaro. It's a hell of a lot more than what I need and a lot more work than what I need. So he ended up explaining the car. Mike's like, does it have a rattlesnake in it under the hood and that? And he's like, yeah. So it ended up being Carl's old car. And Mike's like, bring it to the shop. At the very minimum, we want to see it just to see what it is. We knew what it was, but wanted to see what state it was at and everything like that. So he brought it out, and, one thing led to another. Ended up buying it. It had a 540 in it. He had pulled it out, sent it to the engine builder. West Carleton. So I'd never even seen the engine until, when did I go dyno it? I think mid-July, right around there. So I hadn't seen it in 2 years, but I knew it was being built. I kept sending them parts and here and there. So I knew there was something there that'd work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of how it all went full circle. I'd never seen the car, and the thing falls right into that pretty much.
That's awesome. When the car showed up, did you have like, I know the idea of wanting to do something with a drag and drive type setup, or was this just like the cool car that, because this funny story hits close to home about the car that's gone full circle around, and you're like, I need to get that car back into the fold with no real plan.
Yeah.
But did you have an idea of what you wanted to do with that, or was it just, I need to grab it?
I did. Like, I've been watching drag and drive, I want to say, for like 5 years as well. Like, that's just what I was interested in. I thought it was awesome. Guys making that kind of horsepower, those low second passes on the street or on the strip, and then drive it on the street. I always thought that was cool. And I bought a 65 Barracuda off one of my dad's friends, and I ended up like, I was going to build that for this, and it's completely stock, solid car. Part of me felt bad cutting it up, but then I'm like, I want a pro street car, so you got to do. And then the Camaro showed up, and like, it was already not mini tubbed. It had a fair sized tub in it, and it's already been cut apart, so I didn't feel nearly as bad. And it was a lot better start for what we were going to do with it. So that was my whole plan right from the get-go, and then the car just kind of fell into my lap, and it was, the sentimental value behind it makes it a lot cooler.
Absolutely, yeah. That's rare to get that type of, all those boxes checked, right? Where you get something that just is it's what you want. It's the car that you have the sentimentalness to, right? And it fits exactly what you're going to want to do with it, right?
Exactly.
So from that standpoint, then, and this is where I don't want to go too technical, but to be frank, I love the technical part. What do you, when you're building this car, and I got to hear about it behind the scenes. We're at the track and asking, where's Nick? Oh, he's working on this and doing this, and they're going across the countryside 17 and a half hours to go pick something up for the car on a Saturday. What did you have to do with the car from where we'd normally be racing to make it street worthy? I mean, you see how to make a car street worthy, but now you're trying to take 1,100 horsepower and make it, live. When you're designing this, put it together, what did you have to go through to make this, something that you could drive 600 miles?
A lot of phone calls for one. Talk to people that have already done it right, and like, thank God for Mike, my father-in-law. He made a lot of those phone calls, right? Called Jessup, called Iski, and Iski's big in the drag and drive scene. So like, we use them for the cam and all that, just because they know what it needs to live. And then luckily, like, the car was pretty well street worthy. I'm not sure the 540 that was in it would have lasted. He had a fogger intake on it, stuff like that. And we're not people by any means. Brando wants to be, but won't use it. But so yeah, the body and everything itself was street worthy. And then of course we make it, 10 times more work. I cut everything out of it and redid everything. So I bought a S&W 850 cert, like, cage kind of thing. Back half already, the back half was pre-made, and then the cage was all pre-bent for the most part. And then I knew, we're building the 540. I would eventually probably like to go faster than 850. So I went ahead and I put a 750 cage in it, which included a full funny car cage, everything like that. And, learned a lot, because that was my first cage I've ever done. And of course, all chromoly, and still pretty sore from bending every which way of welding.
You got to find joints you don't know you have, and using muscles you don't know exist, right?
Yeah. So put a whole cage in it. I had between the A-pillars cut out. Mike walked in one morning and kind of said, what the hell are you doing? Because everything was gone. And we only had, I want to say, 2.5 months left.
Oh, wow.
The last thing to do was put a complete cowl firewall floor in it, but we were there.
Yeah. The fun part here is we know you made it, right? It's as scary as all says. And I remember seeing some of the pictures knowing Drag Week was coming, going like, there is a lot of work to happen here to make this thing start and run, let alone go 600 miles.
Yeah.
So this would be kind of cool. So like, I love the stories, and I've been with you watching some of these Drag Week. I've really started to get a passion, for it. And it's amazing, from all ends of the spectrum, seeing some of the real street level type cars to, essentially pro modifieds, right? With steel and big rads running around. But once you get us into Drag Week, I mean, it's really neat to talk to someone who's been part of it now on that inner circle. Walk us through kind of this point of, leaving to go down, day zero, as they often refer to them in some of the movies you watch online, to, like that, I say literal final finish line of making that final pass so you have a ticket to submit. Walk us through maybe start to end, because that would just be fascinating. I know you had some trials and tribulations along the way on this whole trip.
Well, from my standpoint, like, of course, that's my first year. Day zero was, I was ready for it, but I wasn't, because we left, day zero was Sunday. We left Saturday morning, Saturday at 11:30. We were supposed to leave Saturday morning. You know how that works out.
Okay.
But like Friday night, I hadn't put any street miles on the car. Actually, sorry, I might have put 10 on before Friday. And then I said, I built the hitch. Let's put the trailer on. It was empty. I said, I'll put the trailer on, go for a drive, and make sure, that works at least. And I think I might have put 30 miles on Friday. And of those 30 miles, 25 of them, the car overheated. So it's a little nerve-wracking going into Sunday. Like, we knew it would work. Like, we'd make it work one way or another. But you didn't have that confidence in,
This wasn't the perfect dry run.
Tested everything. It's all going to work. So even the drag strip passes, right? We put the big blower on, went to Luskville, I think 2 weeks before that. And I hadn't raced the car. Mike got in it. And the thing, I left it open header. I should have put mufflers on because he was dead that whole week following.
Oh, no.
Earplugs and a helmet on. But it was just way too violent to, test anything. So we had, you might as well say, no testing on the street or the strip going into Sunday. And Sunday rolled, we got there Saturday night, actually, to Ohio. We stayed 2 kilometers from the track, talked to a few people. Luckily, some of the other guys there were telling us their car hardly even ran. So we knew we had to leg up on them.
You were in good company at this point, right? Not too far in left field.
Exactly. And then, Sunday we woke up at 7, rolled into the racetrack, and it's cool seeing, 350 other people all doing the same thing, ready for the same thing. And we rolled there, unload the car, unload the trailer actually to go in the stacker. That's why we left so late Saturday, was we had not put car and trailer in trailer, and car and trailer don't fit in trailer. So we took the axle out of the trailer, put the floor all the way up. Of course, no holes in the stacker lineup, so we might have drilled another set of holes for the lift to sit on. It made the so Sunday we put the axle back under it, unloaded the car, trailer, ran up into tech. We were in tech 9:30 in the morning. Just get in there and get done. Not that we think we'd have any issues, but tech line's also long, and you don't want to be there in the heat of the day, as well as there is testing on Sunday. So you want to get all that done, dealt with, so you can get ready for testing, which we knew we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So did all that, rolled back. Pretty much just car was actually already in race mode. I made sure that Friday night, put it in the race mode so that one less thing to do on Sunday.
And maybe So just out of curiosity, like difference between race mode outside of tires, like you saw the tires around. So what's race mode versus street mode for you?
So race mode for us, we got brand new shocks Friday. Well, that week right before, we got brand new QA1s for it because my other ones just were maxed out and still not cutting it. So we swapped shocks, we swapped blowers, believe it or not. For the street, we were putting an 871 with 2 Holley 750 double pumpers on it, and that was on gas, pump gas, so that we can run that on the street. We had tested both setups on the dyno. It made 850 horse, just easy.
Small setup.
Yeah, 6.5 pounds of boost, I think, and no timing in it. So we're putting that on the street, and then the idea was every race day, every morning, swap to a 1471 with 2 Dominators on it on methanol, and it made 1,300 horse on the dyno, 1,250 foot-pounds at 3,600.
Holy cow!
It was a little violent. So all right, we ended up just running the small blower all week to get the car, tested, tuned, set up, and not break. Yeah, so we swapped blowers, tires, of course. We put those big 37-inch mud tires that nobody can believe on it. Shocks, my trailer hitch goes in the parachute mount, so I got to pull it out, put the trailer hitch in. And then I also have a short man bar for the racing side of it because I couldn't race it. Mike could, so I had to move the seat forward for his legs to reach the pedals. As we know, we're a little height difference there.
I have to use the short man bar too. So there's no shame in the short man bar.
He does fit a lot better with the short man bar, so it'll get more than once.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, and of course we swapped running. Being that we did still run the same blower, race and street, we just ran C14, so we're still swapping fuel back and forth, but we ran C14 on the strip and then pump gas on the street. But other than that, wheelie bars come off, and it seems like, but
yeah, but it's still a lot of work, right? Like none of that happens in a quick moment, right? But
and of course, I'd lash the valves every morning and just do the routine maintenance stuff like that.
So I'm kind of curious now on day one, you've done your testing. How'd that, day zero testing, you're transitioning to day one? I saw there was, a successful pass on the day zero after some adjustments, right? Day one, you start off at the track, no drive at that moment. So essentially that morning is right into race mode. Then you have to transition. So, walk us through maybe day 1 and 2 and just get into some next. I think it was day 2 where you had your biggest episode, or was that day 3?
Day 1.
Oh, day 1. Okay. So yeah, good place to start then.
So day 0, we did a couple tests. I think we did 2 or 3 test passes. I don't remember, but they went good. The car kind of hopped a bit. Like you'll see it plants tires, then unloads, and does that a couple times, as everybody said that we asked to add more power. Well, we did not do right away. So we did soften the shocks a little, and it left fine. We didn't really worry about it. We ran that the whole week. Day 1, we ran a 9. Actually, day 0, I'll say we noticed the blower actually, because we'd rebuilt the 871. It was a friend's blower. He let us use it for the week, so we rebuilt it, and it ended up leaking. So day 0, we took the blower off, kind of sealed it up, let it sit on the bench, and then day 1, Monday morning, we put it back on, and we were run Group A and B, which is first thing in the morning. So we went up, ran, no issues. I want to say it went like a 917, somewhere right around there, 148 mile an hour, and then just get back.
Run and done it.
Yeah, we weren't trying to set any records by any means. We just wanted to complete the week. So got back to the pits, swapped it over, and got on the road. Of course, we went with Sam, who's in the comments, I see Sam and Mike Delaney. Mike has a 80, I believe, Trans Am, and they're like an hour from us. Sam's customer at the shop, so they kind of invited us down to roll with them, which was much appreciated. They've been going for like 12 years, so
Well experience, so not a bad group to get in with.
Exactly. So we kind of worked together and both got swap overs done and then hit the road. On the road, I think I pulled over 5 miles from the track at most. On the interstate, pulled the hood off, strapped it to the trailer because it was getting hot. Just rolled along, and we were kind of bouncing back and forth, leapfrogging. They'd keep going, and then we'd pass them. They'd pull over, and I think we pulled over 3 times, maybe somewhere around there. Just, of course, dealing with small issues that no testing gets you.
Mm-hmm.
And after we did our first checkpoint, everything was good. Well, I think we were like 2 miles from our second checkpoint, rolling down the interstate like 65 mile an hour. The thing, I knew I was really low on gas,
Mm-hmm.
and we're running along, and all of a sudden it cut down to 4 or 5 cylinders, let out a massive bang, and kind of, that's not good. Killed the power and just coasted for half a mile at least. We knew our exit was like the next exit, and it happened before that. So I made it halfway around the circle for our exit and got out. We're like, all right, it's out of gas. It's got to be just ran out of gas. Go back, start pulling the trunk off, and next thing you know, look down. The hitch is like not on by very much. I didn't. None of my welds failed, I will say that. The chromoly fatigued and tore, so the welds were still intact. Yeah, it was barely hanging on. Of course, we put gas in it. I started up, and it wasn't out of gas by any means. That was not our issue that we had.
No.
Kind of pedaled it a little to get up to the gas station, which was, I could see it from me and Brando away a few hundred feet, and pulled in there. I was smart, parked under a street lamp. Luckily, we weren't there that late, but we ended up trying to figure it out while Mike and Sam, while Mike, trying to think of how we did it. Mike was worried about the hitch. He was working on it. And of course, I was trying stuff I changed plugs just in case, wasn't happy rolling down the highway at 65 mile an hour for a steady speed. It just didn't sound clean or anything. It kept backfiring, this and that. So we were just changing, trying to figure out what it was.
Anything ignition, right? Just change it out.
Something, because it just didn't make sense. It seemed decent at low RPM, then 2,500 just start popping, and so we're just throwing the easy stuff at it, right, to get it done. And then next thing you know, we're running it, trying to see if it cleaned up at all, and she just died, which was perfect because now we have something to go off of. So just keep going through, and found we had no spark. And then changed coil. Luckily, Friday night, we're loading the big trailer. Mike's like, we didn't get a spare coil or a grid. And then we ended up, he's like, let's lift the body off my dragster because there's one sitting right there. So we took his coil, his grid, his MSD box. And luckily, we found the MSD box just didn't want to be with us anymore.
So just to quickly review this, the parts out of Mike's dragster were spare. The ignition box spare out of Mike's dragster. And just to go for a circle on a conversation we started earlier, the spare diff that Brandon may have required on Saturday night was also in the trailer.
Actually, the spare diff is actually in the car.
Yes.
Oh, it's in the car.
Gears got changed to... The idea was for a better performance on the street. So my gears ended up getting put in there. So
okay.
Yeah.
well,
So
the new to me gears.
there's a lot of race shop parts and race car parts that have been, I want to say robbed, utilized for this strategic move here on this deal.
Yeah.
So
There was
thank God
also
for having those pieces.
there's also I think I don't know, it's still my distributor cap on there. I think it's still
think it might be your whole distributor.
I
And
think it's my whole yeah.
I gave
Yeah.
you your plug wires back. Quit complaining.
You did. I got plug wires back, so my everything else worked, but my plug wires weren't good enough.
Well, they're blue and they didn't match anything. So
No, they didn't. They were. That's correct. The wires that we had, I did give you red ones later on.
yeah. So aside from the few things we might have borrowed off Brando's, actually I did put a new cap on it. Your cap did get given back, so it wasn't your cap.
Different cap. My crab cap is still gone.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
Anyway, we're good. We're good.
yeah.
So ignition system. So end of the day, the spare piece out of Mike's car's with you.
Luckily, because we had a spare. We in the big trailer have like a spare of everything. So when we were building my car, the spares became in my car.
Yep.
Didn't have a spare ignition box and stuff like that. So luckily we did grab Mike's, and then the brand new MSD just didn't like it. So we changed that out. Got the hitch, as some of you might have seen some pictures. It was very well put together, much better than it was before. Chain strap. There was probably some zip ties in there too. I wouldn't be surprised.
There was way more breakaway devices than what they actually needed in state law, but it was all there.
It was all there. It was so we made it. The checkpoint, like I said, was 2 miles down the road. We got to the checkpoint and everything we put on didn't work. The straps broke and it was back to hanging the way it was. But luckily it was actually a little speed shop in Richmond. Actually, it's a little town where apparently Richmond gear was originally found, which was cool to learn.
Yeah.
So we got there. Brian Goldstone, who ended up winning the event, he was still there, and he came over to see us just as we pulled in, and we told him, "You better hitch in that." And he said, "I have a welder, but it's junk." And luckily, the guys from the speed shop came out, and they're like, "Yeah, pull around back, and we'll open up the place. It's all yours." So they had a welder, they had a bunch of pipe, and we made a nice hitch that is now hanging on the wall for the rest of the life.
Now, maybe the key part to definition of this too is you guys had to do this. You can't have outside help, or how do the rules work on this?
Mike and I think it was like 9:30. Luckily, they stayed open for us. But yeah, just Mike and I welding, grinding, cutting, doing all that on the car ourselves. So that, which was great, they saved us. Like we would have figured out a way, but we were pretty much done at that point, because what else are you gonna do?
Running out of options here, right? Without the proper stuff to fix it.
Falling off. So yeah, we did that, got it fixed. The thing lasted the whole week, 0 issues with that. And we rolled down, I want to say we were 50 miles from the hotel, and rolled down there and, passed a whole bunch of drag weekers. They also had their fair share of issues. Passed a bunch of them. We passed Mike Finnegan, blew by him, and then we stopped for, I think we had stopped for fuel, and then he stopped for fuel. And then we ended up on the highway. We were probably 15 miles before the hotel. It's like 11 o'clock at night, cruising down the highway, and I see something coming up in my mirror, and I can hear it, believe it or not. Rolls up beside me, and I'm like, that's friggin' Mike Finnegan. And luckily, Ash was in the vehicle behind us with my parents. They just tagged along for the week. Didn't help us. They're not allowed. But they followed.
Just there to document everything.
Exactly. I texted Ash and I'm like, pull around us and get some pictures, because this is awesome. So she got some really cool pictures rolling beside
I think there's an awesome video of it, is it not? Like there's a sweet shot of the car coming around both your cars, right?
That was definitely highlight of my week, to say the least. But yeah, so that was all Monday. We got to the hotel like 12 or 12:30. Slept in till 6, 5:45, and went to the next track. And we didn't have any issues the rest of the week. Monday was our one and done for issues.
Wow. That's rare that you see it like up front like that, because normally that can be the, like if you watch enough of these and you know, see the documented YouTube channels of it. Day one either goes really smooth at the back end being it, or day one is it, right? It's
exactly,
you know, it's stuff like that stops you immediately. But you had a different path to the end of it all, right? Where it went so smooth on the back end of it after such a tumultuous day.
And I will say we weren't pushing on it either, so that really, you know, makes difference. It'd be different if we were trying to run like a 7-second car every day, you know, pushing on just, it's harder on everything, as everyone knows. But our main goal was just finish the week, finish it solid.
So one of the things, and there's a great question came up here from Brock Godmere, and it hit on, so like what kind of range are you getting on this for fuel? Like, 'cause this is one of those things where, you know, the big fuel cell, like I've got my Mustang's kind of a former pro street car. It's a gigantic cell. You fill that in the start of the day, I could probably go 7, 8, 9 rounds, not fill it up, be close to empty. But what kind of fuel range can you get on something like what you've done there?
We got a 15-gallon street tank, and actually Mike and Sam that went with us, it was a joke because he's got a 540 as well, but on nitrous. And we rolled up to the pumps, and I think mine took like $3 less than his. So we were calling mine a fuel maximizer because, you know, it takes less than his every time. But no, I want to say we get like 70 to 80 miles to a tank, somewhere around there. Yeah. I didn't want to push it till the end, and like haven't quite got sorted out. My dash doesn't fully read proper. So I was on 0 for, I think the longest I went was like 16 miles.
Yeah.
So somewhere around my range.
That's right. So once every, you're a little over an hour, basically, depending on your cruising speed, right? You're stopping fuel, which
you need.
I've used,
because it's last week, I think, was 30 degrees outside and sunny. So inside the car was like 45 minimum.
Well, that's maybe a good transition. One of the things about this is these aren't exactly Cadillacs or you know, Porsches, or Porsches not really comfortable, Mercedes type rides. This is, you know, just above cool race car. But what's that like going for 55, 60 minutes in a race car on a street drive?
It's, other than the heat, it's not bad. Like I bought headsets for it, so, you know, we could listen to my phone and then actually talk to each other and communicate, because otherwise we would be deaf by the end of the week. But yeah, no, it rides exactly the way you'd think it rides. It's a car on 37-inch mud tires with shocks that I've got cranked to the max because I have a trailer behind me, and, you know, thing is right. So
it's just a Cadillac all the way down, right? Lower back and everything felt great when you were done.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I can't complain really. That I loved it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go for another week, but nobody else agreed with me.
Fair point. And the way it survived, you probably could have gone another week, because it certainly, you know, served you well to go through all this. So, and we will jump back in, because I think the interesting part to this was you survived, and the accomplishment of surviving a week, whether it's your first or, you know, your 15th is a huge accomplishment. Many don't, you know, they struggle to do that. You did, and even got a chance to put the big blower on it at the end. So maybe walk us through that section, because you get through the week, you survived, you make your one pass, or you make a pass with the small blower. I'm assuming that's how it went, and then decide, let's try the big one here. You're back at National Trail. Would love to hear about how all that went down, because that would have been the first time for you switching the blower while in competition, in a sense, right?
Yeah, so our whole idea, like, we put the big blower, because I should have said Monday morning, like, our hauler was put in the back 40, locked up, you can't touch it. So you only had what you carried in the trailer and with you. So we put the big blower in the trailer, and our whole goal was finish the week, and then Friday was we're putting the big blower on. So all week, we ran a 918 to a 907 or 8 was our quickest. We were in that range. So our whole goal was just finish, get consistent passes. So I think Friday morning we went like a 917, or it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was enough to say, we made it, we finished. This is our goal. But then we had planned on swapping blowers anyways, but I also said, we didn't haul that thing around for 850 miles for nothing. Yep. So yeah, we rushed back to the pits. I was trying to make it so that we could get in the first run group, because A and B groups have 2 hours and then they go to the next run group. Right. They have time, and then at the end of the day they have all run. So I was trying to swap it over and get it done so we could run first thing in the morning, but it just took longer than we thought, this and that. And Mike had tried the parachutes just in case, he was definitely going to be faster at the big blower, so we wanted to make sure, first of all, our trailer hitch didn't stay on the track when he pulled the chutes, because welded that all back together.
I'd say that there's a little bit of a story to that part, right? So you want to make sure that piece isn't going to become a souvenir.
You wanted to test all the small stuff first, and then we bolted it on. He went out first pass. He did a 850 at 160, I believe.
I think so.
And it's not quite happy off the line. Like I've been data logging it on the Holly Dash, and I was looking at them Sunday night when we got home, and off the line it goes like chips at 32. It bogs down to, I think the first pass it bogged down to 1400, and then came back up, and then second pass we thought maybe it just needed to be cleaned out. Mm-hmm. I should say the first pass, he did make Brando's wishes for a good burnout come true.
I do want to just give me 2 seconds. Hang on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Can you figure it out?
I'm getting there. Don't worry about that.
Show the Stone Crusher doing a wicked burnout.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
All right, what's interesting here on the right-hand side is this Camaro that we're looking at, the supercharger. He has been running an 871 on gasoline all week, and it now has a 1471 on methanol.
Just that's all I wanted. That's all. I just wanted to share that one quick. That made. I wasn't there, obviously, or really a huge part of the whole deal. But every day, I was texting him. I said, "Hey, we need burnouts," and Mike laid that one down. There was some cheering going on in the shop when we were watching that. So I waited this whole episode for that right there.
Yeah, 400 or 500 horse really helped that burnout. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But so that was the first pass. Second pass, he goes out and off the line. It only bogged like $2,000, so it picked up. Can't remember what it picked up in the 60.
It went in the
122 in the 60 that time. I think it was 128 or something, 129 this first time. And of course, he went 840 at 161, so he gained 1 mile an hour, but a full 10th.
Yeah, a lot of ET.
There's a lot there. We still haven't got the thing sorted out by any means. It's to us still.
At this point, you've had I mean, I was gonna say more than a half dozen, but clearly less than a dozen runs on it to get to this point, right?
Oh, so exactly. So there's a lot to work with, but there's definitely a lot more, and that's still, we're only making, I think, 7 pound boost as well on the big blower. So we're not leaning on anything by any means, right? We don't want to hurt anything, and we're trying to be rock stars right now.
Give it time.
You got a good start on all this. This is cool. So at the end of the day, like out of there's 400 entries in that, or
50 some.
Yeah. So how did you end up finishing in that? Because I guess maybe that's something like to understand how that kind of works again, a little different than what we're used to in the bracket race, drag race.
So like,
where did you end up finishing, and how did that like class wise work out?
yeah, so they go, of course, per class, and I think Pro Street Power Adder, like I think there was 8 guys that finished in our class, and we're 7th. Again,
It started with 14.
Yeah, it had a lot in it for sure.
Yeah.
And like number 1 guy in our class was Glenn Hunter, and he averaged a 756 in his 56 Chevy that went 7 flat on day 2.
Wow.
So yeah,
Not
he
bad.
can move. But yeah, there's everyone top 3 finished above 8 flat average.
Yeah.
And we were with that 840 pass we handed in, we averaged a 897 at 151. And then, yeah, as Sam just commented, there was a gentleman that kind of rearranged the whole thing to make it, first through slowest of the whole week. And we were 34th quickest out of, I think there was 300 cars or so that finished right there. So 34th isn't too bad for the first time out by any means.
And finishing with an 8-second average.
Yeah. With over 100 people that didn't finish the week.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So, whatever you said, 450 entries. And then over 100 of those people didn't get to finish. So finishing obviously huge, and then finishing 34th, fastest overall, like
not bad.
And like I said, with going in 840, right? Potential for much more, right?
Yeah. No, so there's definitely a lot to improve, and fix the hitch, and we've learned a lot. Like the trailer, I ran out of time. I was gonna build a trailer, this and that. I ended up buying a mini trailer. It's for sale as of Sunday when we got home.
I did see the ad on it, so
yeah. So
I assume bigger things were coming.
After seeing like a lot of trailers down there, and like Dennis Taylor, him and his daughter Alex got second, but like Dennis built a trailer for this, and I haven't seen in person till this week. Once I saw it, I'm like, that's what I'm doing. Because anybody that wants to see what it looks like, go look at Dennis Taylor's Instagram or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal what he's done.
It's a completely like function built trailer, like
exactly
thought put into every corner of it to be able to do exactly what you do on the drag week setup, right?
The big thing for us was, all right, we get to the track and you unload the whole trailer. And then you go to leave and you load the whole trailer. So that just taking away 45 minutes of loading and unloading. It's all about saving time and making it easier on everyone and everything.
Yeah. So that's one of the projects. So maybe that's a good segue. Just kind of what you've learned here. I mean, because you've had a completely impressive, first attempt at this, right? The plan for you to move forward is you're obviously looking at 2025 drag week again. Outside of more testing on the car, right? What other upgrades are you looking to do on it from what you've learned from this, past week?
First is get my license so I can race it.
Fair.
So that's a good starter, but yeah.
If you grab the car and come to Naperville, you might be able to do that this weekend. Just saying. So
I have been told that. But yeah,
he does have his license passes. I let him run my car. So we're close.
It's sent. But yeah, do the trailer. I've started a list on my phone because there's all kinds of just small things, that I did get rushed. By no means were they safety issues, but like just stuff that I want to finish a lot nicer, do proper, stuff like that. But other than like the trailer hitch, maybe build some, bull horns or something, take the mufflers off and get a little more obnoxious, whether
a little rowdier.
Mike might not agree with that, but the younger people do. Yeah, I keep looking over at it, but like I was sitting here while you guys were doing the start of the episode trying to figure out, make a list of stuff I want to do. And
you get a full winter ahead of upgrades and whatnot, and then a fairly full season, right? When you look at where drag week falls in to really test and put some miles on it and put some 8th mile and quarter mile passes on it somewhere.
We could go, untested again and sick week registration did open or is opening, and it's in end of January. But I can't say by any means, but it was thrown out there during drag week.
Well, listen, your first attempt with very little prep time yielded some great results. You might as well just keep following the same game plan here, right? So,
yeah, but yeah, no,
shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best laid plans aren't the ones that go the best, right? So just make it work.
Yeah,
absolutely. I had some notes I wrote just quick as we were doing the whole deal. There you go, Penny.
Yes.
Penny says he has to get that wedding plan first. So
there is a wedding and a house coming, so a lot of that kind of plays into,
those aren't big things, right? Like,
all I know is you can sleep in a car, you can't race a house.
This is
that's put that on a t-shirt and sell that.
So my notes quick. Mark Sauvé, longtime drag racer, been around for a real long time, brought up not the stress reliever, referring to Carl Jessup's old Camaro. This is not the stress reliever. This is the Rattler. This was before.
Yeah.
This kind of started the whole drag racing situation and stress reliever. So
what our stress reliever is, tell us.
Yeah, if you find it, then maybe we'll buy that too.
We think it went to New York or something like that. So
somebody
this is
finds
like the unsolved mysteries portion of our show, right? If you know where this car is,
yeah, exactly.
Please call the 1-800 number.
Yeah, that's it. So that answers Mark's question on there. Mark Bedard asked for the thin-walled chromoly. I think the setup, just with how heavy the trailer was, right, Nick, was going to more why.
Just the way the leverage was on the hitch, so to say, that I was gonna put other gussets in, and then it was, it'll be fine. You know what it was?
It wasn't fine. It wasn't fine. I did want to highlight that every weld on the car, the roll cage that came, the rear tubs that were cut, all the stuff like that was done by Nick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of stuff. Like, had TIG welded a little bit before, done that, got some experience, but learned
a lot.
However much doing this, right? We had borrowed pipe bender and cutter, and then Nick just went at her. So every bar that's in the car was cut, fit, finished by Nick, and painted for the most part, I think, by you too.
Really impressive.
So I want to highlight that. So
Ogilvy Chassis and Raceworks about to be opened up.
Look out. Mike already said no. That said no. We're not allowed to start building race cars all the time.
Get interest first. So if you are interested in getting the stuff done, start calling.
We can maybe build race cars. We can build transmissions. We never know. Maybe engines are next.
The Ogilvy ad is changing as we're talking here, right?
That's it. The official drag week route, I guess, was 897 miles.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is in kilometers for, somebody can figure that out. A lot.
Yes.
Especially in a race car. I believe the week, as we said, Nick didn't have any street miles on it before he left, other than the few that he put on just around Jasper here. I believe the car in 1 week, or maybe the span of 2 weeks, had, what did you say, 1,000?
1 week, I put 1,060 miles on it.
Yeah. Like, that's unreal to think.
43 kilometers.
There you go. For the drag week route. So we had 1,060 miles put on a race car.
A 900 horse, not supposed to be on the street kind of thing.
Race car. So, and then to think of how many miles I've put on my dragster, I don't know, 8 mile races, I have to do 8 mile races to equal 1. So I've put on a lot of runs, but I'm not quite there yet. So that's a pretty cool feat. I did highlight that, wanted to highlight the 34th overall. Those are the big points I wanted to make sure we had clear.
We did 1 oil change on Wednesday, and checking the valves, they maybe 2 of them moved 2 thou over the week. It was just phenomenal. I said to Mike Friday night that I couldn't believe not one issue with that engine. The thing just worked perfect.
Yeah. So in great work, right? That was West Carleton Automotive that put the bottom end, I guess, together. You guys bought you had bought a new blower, the 1471. Mike put that all together here at the shop. You guys had serviced both the 14 and the 871.
Went down there, dynoed it on West Carleton's dyno, and just drop in, ready to go. But everything that they did was just worked phenomenal.
Very impressive.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of great support from I guess M&M Race Cars. Justin Melton was he threw out the idea for swapping the blowers over, right?
Yeah, exactly. And our original idea was, we thought about a 1071 for both, street and strip, and then swap carbs back and forth every day. And then when Mike called Justin, the first question was, how big should we go? And of course, as big as can. And then Mike's like, I don't know if a 14 will fit on there. And said, well, can you see the back of the block? Yep, it'll fit. So we were kind of like pricing that out, working out the whole deal. And then he, calls us one day and says, I was up all night thinking about it. And what if you, instead of swapping carbs, just swapped everything and put a small blower on the street, and then you're not, overworking the big blower, or not overworking, but just pretty much wearing the thing out for no reason. So he was the founder of that idea, and I don't think anyone else has done that on Drag Week. So that was also cool to do.
Watch, there'll be just lines of the next year trying to swap blowers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Brock, added again. Plan to attend another Drag Week again for sure, Nick, or what are you looking for?
I'm
obviously
ready.
unsure of next year, but
Drag Week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a year. Everything else should be pretty much done.
Well, and the car's there. The car works.
Exactly. I'll buy another mini trailer and then sell it after if I need to.
Yeah, exactly. Worst case scenario.
Exactly.
Quick, before we go, I'll get you, do your final whatever. Can you turn the computer around and the camera around? I just want to see the car, or just show everybody. I know the race shop's a little dirty. There's a lot of stuff going on, but
there
it is.
Yeah.
Looking good. Good looking ride. I wanted you to throw that out there just because we could.
Exactly.
Say, Andrew, you got anything else?
The most media advanced show that we've done yet, right? We've
That's
done
unreal.
movies, we've done tutorials, we've done walkarounds, right?
It's unreal. It's what we do here. We're groundbreaking. I did tell you we were international earlier, so that's
number 70 is a big episode.
It is. It is. Andrew, you got anything else for Nick for tonight?
I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing the experiences on this one. It was a fun week to follow it all.
I will say, because Sam brought up the Rock Crusher, the whole story behind it I can't remember if it was Sunday or Monday.
I think that was Sunday.
I think it was Sunday. Of course, we go out there for second pass, actually. First pass, Mike goes out, and he was coming down the return road, and there was a guy in front of him, and he said there was like massive potholes, and he's trying to dodge them, this and that, so he took the grass. And then second pass out, I'm on the line, and as some of you may know, David Freiberger and Brian Loans announce all of Drag Week, both, big names out there. So just about to did the burnout. I noticed a couple stones fell out, and I'm like, it is what it is. He's staging, and I look over. I'm kind of behind the car a little bit, and Freiberger's on the wall filming him. And I'm like, this is awesome. David Freiberger is filming my Camaro. Mike lets off the button and pours the rocks out of the quarter van. The rockers, I should say.
Yep.
So, and then, Monday, as some of you heard, whenever he pulled up, Freiberger say, you remember that pea gravel story I mentioned? This is the car. And the whole slate thing came in, and the gravel pit owner.
That's it.
Just 5 more days of.
Well,
of,
that we were good at, making sure it was cleaned out, and that is, I'm going to add that to my list. Another thing I need to fix for next year.
As an owner of a Camaro and having 2 family Camaros, you just needed a phone call and ask me, like, what do I need to know? And I would have told you, got to get those rockers sealed. Camaros are notorious for that. We did that on our Super Stalker, but you learn the fun way.
Hey, you got it.
Does remember my car now. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, made an impression.
There's remembers it.
Yeah.
There's only one thing you do, just make an impression, right? So
exactly.
So Nick, anybody else before we let you go? I don't know. You want to thank, throw out there, shout out, whatever you feel. Anything else you want to leave us on?
Well, of course I want to thank Ash, even though she was gone for 8 months of the build, but when she's home, being understanding, her and Letty damn near lived at the shop with me. Letting me be here, helped me out with it. Mike, he put a lot of hours in it with me. Vicky helped out in the backgrounds too. And then, of course, all the companies they all stood behind us, and FTI was a great help with the converter and trans, everything like that. West Carleton did a phenomenal job on the motor. And just, all the other smaller companies in the background that I won't go through and list everyone, but you know who they are.
Absolutely. A lot of help and a lot of work goes into it, right? And then some that not a lot of people understand because they'll never do it, right? They'll never do it to the extent that you guys did. But how much work does go in and how much help you do need. And the products you got to deal with, right? The amount of new companies that you guys got to deal with and learn from. Some you'll use again, some not as much, right? But you got that experience.
Oh, exactly.
That you don't, not just anybody gets living an average, life or doing the regular setup. So that was cool. It was a lot of fun. Well, not as much fun to watch. It looked like a lot of work. I come walk over and hang out for a little bit, but it's a lot of action, a lot of movement, and not a whole lot of relaxing.
Yeah.
And near the very end. So I didn't hang around too much. I didn't want to feel like I was in the way when the boys were dialed in, but it was cool. I got to drive around the parking lot a little bit Sunday afternoon, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready for it.
I'm ready to do it again.
No, it was a cool deal. Glad that you guys got to do it. Never would have been something that I would have ever looked at or paid attention to. And then, so I've learned a boatload just watching what you guys have done, interacting with that, seeing what you guys learn, watching Drag Week, obviously learning how that whole deal goes down. I have a lot more interest in it now myself. But definitely a cool deal. Awesome you guys got to do it. I'm excited to see that, how you guys go forward. We've already talked about it. I think a 7-second average would be pretty cool. We'll see how it goes. But in the future, it's coming.
We'll see. For sure.
Yeah. All right, bud. Well, thank you guys very much. I don't know if anybody else has anything out there for Nick. Any other questions, comments fired in there. And, if we don't get to it on here, I'll ask them later. We can talk about it at some point. But yeah, it was an awesome deal. And glad we're through it. Glad you guys can just relax for a minute and dial this all in and get back to do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, bud. Well, we'll let you go. Thanks for coming on. Glad that you had an awesome week. And I'll see you in the morning. Andrew might see you on the weekend.
I'm hoping to.
Facebook and all that jazz.
That's right. Nick's gonna work on some YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Yeah. So hopefully we see more
in the making here. Is that what we're saying?
That's pretty much what we're laying down.
We kind of have doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the personality for it, right? You're not very charismatic and that flair. I'm not sure. It's just, but we'll hope for the best for you.
We'll hope for the best.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, bud. Well, thank you. We will let you go. And like I said, I'll see you
in the
about 10 hours, give or take, roughly.
Hopefully see you in a few days, bud.
That's right. Thanks, Nick.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Oh, that
Cool
was
deal.
good. Yeah, went long, right? We're a half hour over the normal time length, but that was a great episode. Still great following. Everybody's still in, and that's what I sent a little message in the group thing. I like load up, right? We don't need to quit this thing right at 9 because everybody's all in, and it's a great show and it's a great story.
Absolutely, yeah. It's so cool to get that insight, right? On you know, you don't often get to talk to someone who's gone through it and like they have, and to do it so well, like it just I think that's an understatement when you look at it. And if you don't follow Drag and Drive, to be able to do it, you know, Nick and Mike did in year 1 with the first build, first time doing it, and complete it. Forget about everything else. Just make the week. There's many successful folks who haven't, you know, been able to say they've done that so quickly in their career with that, especially in something as aggressive as that car is.
And there's so much more to talk about for the whole week. The setup, we didn't touch on so much of the story of what all went into it, and the work and the fight. I know, like Thursday night, I was over there. I was cutting grass here. I finished the grass 8:30, 9 o'clock, because that's normally when I cut grass is in the dark. It's what I do. That's
a whole other story right there.
Thankfully, it's my in-laws, and then the cemetery's on the other side.
Great
the neighbors, so nobody really worries about the noise. But I finished cutting the grass, went over to the shop, and it was overheating, right? That Nick had kind of talked about, and the new rad they had kept leaking, and so he's welding different pieces on it and this and that, and I don't know. There's so much more to the story than what's all there. So I'm excited to see. I hope that we can help Nick and whatever to get a YouTube video going on the whole deal. But no, great story, great accomplishment, really cool deal to watch and see. I don't know. I get all the benefits of this honestly now because I get to just take everything that they learn and put it into my stuff as I build things moving forward. So not that I think a drag and drive car is necessarily coming for me, but they learned a lot of stuff so that I can put to use in my program.
Well, I was going to say, right, going in circles, double entered. Hot lapping is drag and drive in a mini version.
That's it. And maybe I start doing that with a big 1471 on the car. Well, who knows?
1,000 miles. You only need to put about 2 of them on to do double lap or hot lap in a bracket mode. So.
That's right. But that's about it for tonight. Episode 70 was a great one. As Andrew did say, we went full rock star on this one. I feel pretty good about it.
We did a Mike Ogilvy full send on the burnout on this one.
We did. That was excellent. It was the best part of the whole drag week for me. So thank you all for joining us for the whole thing. Love the comments. Love the interaction. That makes the live show so much more fun. Andrew, I'll see you in 4 days, give or take. Right? 3 days?
I don't know. 72 hours, something like that. I don't know.
Give or take.
I lost count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be in Naperville this weekend. That's all that matters.
That's true.
So I hope to see a bunch of you there. I'm sure I will. If not, good luck to everybody who's still racing. If there are some final points chases going down, that's what I wanted to hit. Quick, had some Shannonville updates as we were doing the show.
The live update.
I'll be 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So hold on. Jason Chatwood comes around on the final day, I believe, to take the Super Pro Championship. Tyler Bunnett, I believe it's Tyler Bennett, takes the Pro Championship. Dustin Baldwin wins Sportsman. Wayne Sloot in the bike sled category. I'm unsure of the first name, but Peltier takes the win in Nostalgia. D. Peak takes the Trophy Class Championship. And Carly Parkhurst with the Junior Championship. So there you go.
Congrats,
I knew that I told you guys that Chuck was working on it. Chuck got him posted as we were on here. He knew what to do. He got her done. So congratulations to everyone on their championships. Good luck to you, those of you that are finishing them off. Like I said, a huge weekend for the Bracket Super Tour coming up, final weekend. Should be awesome. Yeah, that's it. Good luck. Enjoy the last few times that we get to go racing. Some big weekends coming up, big events. I know a lot of people might be traveling to finish out their year. We plan to head to Numidia, so that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, that's about that. That's it for episode 70. Thank you, Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service, for the support as always. Thank you to you guys. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, I'm finishing up in 45 seconds. Hop on YouTube quick, hit subscribe, Bracket Life brand, follow the channel. We appreciate it. Helps us a lot. And yeah, we'll see you all later.
That's it. Have a great night.
35 years ago, a lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work.
Diagnostics and racing transmissions.
Performance parts and Jeep upgrades.
Automotive detailing.
Used car sales.
And towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
It's worth the drive.